Hi, this is Ms. Holloway for your exam review. Which numbers are irrational? Select all that apply. When it says select all that apply, that means that there might be more than one answer. So if I look at A, 0.23 repeating, that number is going to be rational because your 3 repeats. B, 4 divided by 5, which is 4/5, that is also rational because it is a fraction. So fraction. And this one repeats. C, pi over pi. This one's kind of tricky. It's here to throw you off. Pi is irrational, but since pi isn't a fraction form, so pi over pi actually equals 1. So this is rational. D, 1/2 pi. This one is the one that is irrational. Remember, pi is irrational, so anything multiplied by pi, added to pi, divided by pi, subtracted from pi is going to be rational, or irrational, excuse me. Number 2, consider the expression square root of n. For which value of n is the expression irrational? Remember, when we are talking about irrational numbers when dealing with square roots, we want a non-perfect square. So if I take the square root of 4, that gives me 2. That is a perfect square, so that is rational. Square root of 9 equals 3, so that is rational. Square root of 15 equals 3.872. That is irrational because it keeps on going. And then square root of 16 equals 4, and that's rational. So C is irrational. It's a non-perfect square. Number 3, study the equation 2 times x plus 6 equals mx plus 12. Which value of m results in the equation having infinitely many solutions? So I want both sides to be equal, so I'm going to distribute this, my 2. So I have 2x plus 212 equals, I'm going to leave that blank, x plus 12. So I want both sides to be the same, so I'm going to look at my answer choices and what number can I put in the blank here that will be the same number as this one. 0 will not make the equation true. 2, if I put 2 right here, we have 2x plus 12 equals 2x plus 12. So that is your answer. 6 and 12 do not work. Number 4, how many times larger is 8 times 10 to the 6th than 4 times 10 to the 3rd, and why? Okay, so we can look here. We can set it up as a division problem. 8 times 10 to the 6th divided by 4 times 10 to the 3rd. When you put that in your calculator in scientific notation, you get 2 times 10 to the 3rd. And we know that 2 times 10 to the 3rd equals 2,000. So your answer is going to be B, 2,000 times larger. 8 is 2 times larger than 4, and 10 to the 6th is 1,000 times larger than 10 to the 3rd. Number 5, which expressions are equivalent to 1/8? Select all that apply. So look at 1 divided by 2 to the 4th. So 2 to the 4th gives me 16. So this would be 1 over 16. This one would be a negative, so we will turn into a positive, which will also be 1 to the 16th. 2 cubed equals 8. So this would be 1 to the 8th. So C is your correct answer. Now look here, if I put in my calculator 1, ABC 32 times 2 squared, I get 1 to the 8th. So D is correct. If I move this one here to make it positive, so it'll be 4 to the 3rd times 2 squared, put it in your calculator, 4 house top 3 times 2 squared, and you will get 256. So C and D are your correct answers. Which fraction is equivalent to 0.583 repeating? The way I would solve this problem is I would just take each answer choice and do 5 divided by 9, and I get 0.5 repeating. 6 divided by 11 gives me 0.54 repeating. 7 divided by 12 gets me 0.583 repeating, and 8 divided by 14 gives me 0.571. And just goes on and on. So the one that's equivalent to that one would be C, 7/12. I'm sorry. Use the information given to answer questions 7 through 8. By the end of the 2017 fiscal year, country Y is projected to have a national gross debt of $20,100,000,000. What is the country Y's projected 2017 debt value written in scientific notation? One way to do this is take your point, you're at your decimal, and you're going to move it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's 2.01 times 10 to the 13th power. So you'll find which answer choice matches that, and it will be A. Part B. A century earlier, country Y's gross national debt was approximately 5.7 times 10 to the 9th. What is this value in standard form? You can put 5.7, draw your decimal, and then draw your spaces over to the right 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And fill in with zeros. Decimal, or comma here, comma here, comma here. So 5,700,000,000, and that answer choice will be B. Which defines an irrational number correctly? This is number 9. A number ending in repeating decimal. No, that is a rational number. B, a number ending with a terminating decimal. No, that is rational number. A number that cannot be expressed as a fraction. Yes. Let's look at D. A number that is with the square root, if that is an integer. That is a rational number. So your answer is C, a number that cannot be expressed as a fraction. Number 10 and 11. Use the number line to answer the questions 10 through 11. Part A, which point on the number line represents the closest approximation of pi squared? So in your calculator, you hit pi x squared to get pi squared, and that equals 9.8696. So I'm looking at my number line. So no, F is between 9.6 and 9.7, so that can't be the answer. G is right at 9.8, but my number is actually closer to 9.9, but not exactly 9.9, so my correct point is going to be H, C. At what point on the line represents the closest approximation of square root of 93? So So the first thing you need to do is find the square root of 93. So on your calculator, you'll do second x squared 93, and you get 9.6436. Look here, I know 9.6 is going to be greater than 9.6, but less than 9.7, so your answer is going to be F. Number 12, examine the following equations. And it says, which equation has exactly one solution? So the first thing you want to do is you want to work out each equation, okay? So we're going to look at number 1. 2x plus 1 plus x equals 2x plus 6. We don't have to distribute, so I don't have to do that step. Now I'm going to combine like terms. 2x plus x gives me 3x, so 3x plus 1 equals 2x plus 6. I'm going to think about my left side and my right side. I'm going to move my 2x from my right side to my left side by subtracting because my 2x is positive. So minus 2x gives me 0, minus 2x. So 3x minus 2x gives me x. I have x plus 1 equals 6. Now I want to move my 1 from my left side to my right side. Since it's a positive 1, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. So I'm left with x equals 6 minus 5. When I have x equals a number, variable equals a number, I know that's going to have one solution, okay? So my question was asking for which one has one solution, but you always want to work through each answer choice to make sure you didn't make a mistake, okay? So we're going to look at number 2. 2 times 3x minus 4 equals 3x minus 8 plus 3x. First thing I'm going to do is distribute my 2 into my parentheses. 2 times 3x gives me 6x. 2 times negative 4 gives me negative 8. On my right-hand side, left, right, I'm going to combine terms. 3x plus 3x gives me 6x. So 6x minus 8. If I notice now, 6x minus 8 equals 6x minus 8, both sides of my equation are exactly the same. That means I'm going to have infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many. So no, equation number 2 cannot be my answer. So now I'm going to look at equation number 3. (8x minus 5x plus 2 equals 3x minus 2. Going to combine like terms. 8x minus 5x gives me 3x plus 2 equals 3x minus 2. Left and right, we'll move my 3x from my right side to my left side by subtracting minus 3x. 3x minus 3x gives me 0, so I'm left with 2 equals negative 2. My equation is false, so this means I have no solution. 2 does not equal negative 2. Going to look at number 4, equation number 4. 8 plus 5x minus 2x equals negative 2x plus 5x plus 8. Bring down my 8. 5x minus 2x gives me 3x. Negative 2x plus 5x gives me 3x plus 8. If I flip this one on my left-hand side to make my variable first, you can see more clearly that both sides of my equal sign are the same. So that means I'm going to have infinitely many solutions. So by working all these out, we realized that we were right on equation number 1. Equation number 1 is the only one that has one solution. So my answer will be A. Number 13, which measurement is the best estimate of the length of a basketball court? So I'm looking at my answer choices. I have 1 times 10 to the negative 3. I know that's going to be a decimal because it's a negative number, so I know that cannot be an answer choice. The same goes for B because it's negative 1. So I'm looking at C. 1 times 10 to the first power equals 10. 1 times 10 cubed equals 1,000. So inches, 10 inches will probably be around the length of your arm, forearm. So no, C cannot be my answer, so D is my correct answer. Which numbers are irrational? Select all that reply. So A has 0.23 repeating. Since it's the decimal is repeating, I know that A is a rational number. Repeats. 4/5 is rational because it's a fraction. Pi/pi is a fraction, so that means it is rational. One half times pi is irrational because anything times pi is going to be irrational. And then the square root of 6, my calculator, I'll do second, x squared 6. And I know the square root of 6 equals 2.449. So it is also irrational because it is a non-perfect square. Which decimal number is equivalent to negative 209 divided by 4? I know my number is negative, so I can mark off my answer choices that are not negative, which will be 13 and 52.25. So all you need to do in your calculator, put negative 209 divided by 4, and you get negative 52.25. You can put the negative with the 209 or the 4, but make sure you only put it with one of the numbers. Selena is solving an equation with the steps shown. If the next step Selena wants to use the multiplication property of equality, what should she do? The multiplication property of equality says what you do to one side of the equation, you need to do to the other side too. So we're looking for the answer that includes both sides of the equation. A is saying multiply only the fraction in the equation by 3. B is saying only do the left side. C is doing the right side. D has the word both, so D is our correct answer. Consider the equation 2x plus 5 equals 8x minus 4. What is the solution for this equation? So we're going to solve it. 2x plus 5 equals 8x minus 4. Left and right. I'm going to move my 2x to my right-hand side from the left-hand side by subtracting because it's a positive 2x. 2x minus 2x gives me 0 minus 2x. So 5 equals 8x minus 2x is 6x minus 4. Add 4 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0 plus 4. 5 plus 4 is 9 equals 6x. Divide by 6. X equals 9/6. But I look at my problems, I don't have 9/6. I do see two negatives I know are not my answer, so I'm going to go ahead and mark those off. I see one that is a fraction and one's an improper fraction. I know that 9/6 is an improper fraction, so I know my answer is going to be 3/2, but I also know if I divide my numerator and my denominator by 3, 9 divided by 3 gives me 3, 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. Number 18, Catherine solves the equation correctly. 2x times negative 4x plus 1 equals 2/3 times x plus 2. What is Catherine's solution? So the first thing I do is I want to distribute. So 2 times 4 gives me negative 8x. 2 times 1 gives me positive 2. 2 times 2/3 times x gives me 2/3 x. 2/3 times 2 gives me 4/3. Okay, so my left-hand side and my right-hand side. I am going to bring my 8x, my negative 8x on my left to my right. Okay, so I'm going to add 8x to both sides. So I'm left with 2 on my left-hand side, 8 and 2/3 x plus 4/3. I'm going to subtract 4/3 to get 0, minus 4/3 equals 2/3 equals 8 2/3 x. Now I'm left with 2/3 equals 8 and 2/3 x. So I'm going to get x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 8 and 2/3 from both sides. In your calculator, you can put 2 divided by 3 divided by, open parentheses, 8 ABC, 2 ABC, 3, close parentheses, and you get a really long decimal, but then you can hit second PRB, and you get 1/13 equals x. Another way you can solve it, I'm going to switch colors right quick, is to take this 8 and 2/3 and turn it into a mixed number, improper fraction, excuse me. So 8 times 3 gives you 24, 24 times 2, or plus 2 gives me 26, so you can do 26, 3, and you get 2/3 divided by 26/3. To divide fractions, you're going to flip your second fraction and multiply it. 2 times 6, or 2 times 3, gives you 6. 3 times 26 gives you 78. 6 divided by 78 equals 0.076, and you can take that to a fraction by second PRB, or you can do 6 goes into 6 one time, 6 goes into 76 13 times. Either way is correct. What is the solution to the equation 5/2 times x minus 2 plus 2x minus 4 equals 9? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute my 5/2 into my parentheses. So 5/2 times x gives me 5/2x. 5/2 times negative 2 gives me negative 5 plus 2x minus 4 equals 9. I'm going to combine 5/2 plus 2x, so 5 divided by 2 plus 2 gives me 4.5 x minus 5 minus 4 equals 9. I'm going to do minus 5 minus 4, negative 5 minus 4 gives me negative 9, so I have 4.5x minus 9 equals 9. I want to move my negative 9 to my right-hand side of my equation. Remember, right, left. We'll add 9 because addition is the inverse of subtraction, plus 9. So I have 4.5x. 9 plus 9 equals 18. Divide by 4.5, because 4.5 and x are being multiplied together. And to get the x by itself, I have to divide. That gives me 1. Divide by 4.5. 18 divided by 4.5 gives me 4. X equals 4. Which expression is equivalent to 5 raised to the negative 2 power raised to the 5th power times 5 to the 4th power? This is power over power, and when we have power over power, we multiply our exponents. So you keep your base, and you multiply your exponents. Negative 2 times 5 times 5 to the 4th. Negative 2 times 5 gives me negative 10 times 5 to the 4th. Multiplying like bases, you keep your base and you add your exponents. So keep your base 5, negative 10 plus 4, which will give you 5 to the negative 6th power. I'm looking here, none of my problems have 5 to the negative 6th power, but I know if I have a negative exponent, you can put it over 1 and then flip it. 1 over 5 to the 6th. Answer choice that matches that is C. Select the point that represents square root 15. So I have the square root of 15 equals 3.87. So I'm looking at my point. I know my C is close to 3, B is on 6, A is at 15, D is probably around 17. So I know it says that represents the square root of 15, so I want my answer of square root of 15, which is 3.87. So it's going to be C. Point C. True or false? Square root of 49 equals 7. If I put it in my calculator, I get 7 because 7 times 7 equals 49. So that is true. Square root 88 equals 9.38. So this one is false. Cube root. Remember, to find cube root, you hit 3 second house top. So 3 second house top 8 equals 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. So that is true. The cube root of 9 equals 2.08. So that one is false because it says it's 3. So true, false, true, false. Number 23. 7.6, a list of numbers is shown. 7.6, square root 50, square root 65, square root 78, and 8.2. To plot the numbers on a number line, which list is ordered from least to greatest? So the first thing I need to do is take my square root and turn them into decimals. The square root of 50 will be 7.1. Square root of 65 will be 8.1. Square root 78 would be 8.8. I like to write, I'm going to write them over again so I can see them a little bit better. Okay, so now I'm looking from least to greatest. Okay, so I'm looking at my whole numbers. I have 7, 7, 8, 8, 8. So I know that 7 is less than 8, so I'm going to focus on my first two numbers first, 6.6 and 7.1. So my whole numbers are the same, so I'm going to look at my tens place. I have a 6 and a 1. I know my 1 is smaller than my 6, so I know that 7.1 is my least number. But according to my problem, 7.1 is actually square root 50. So I want to look for the answer choice that has square root 50 first, which would be A and B, or D, excuse me. So I'm going to mark off B, and C. I know that 7.6 is going to come next, so I'm going to look for the answer choice that has 7.6 next. Square root 65, which is 8.1. No. I'm going to look at D, and it has 7.6, so I know that D is my correct answer. I'm going to go ahead and check my other ones. I know 8.1 will come next because 1 is less than 8 and 2. And that'll be square root 65, and then 8.2, and then square root 78, which is 8.8.